What's up guys, welcome back to Tradingofftilt. I'm Ryan. In this video we're going to be going over my daily update on Bitcoin, and I wanted to start out today's video by showing you guys the WXY count, and that would be a wave W down here for unexpanded flat for ABC, a zigzag up for the wave X for an ABC, and we're currently in a wave Y, and the best way we could count this wave Y most likely is calling it a double zigzag, and that would be the first zigzag being ABC down here into these lows. And it looks like we may be getting a triangle right here for the wave X. So there are multiple ways we could count this wave X. We could put this wave X right here. However, it's possible we could be getting a triangle, and it makes sense because we do get three wave moves into most of these subwaves in the wave A, B, C, and D. So we're going to zoom into that in just a second. But I wanted to show you guys this because it's starting to look like we could be getting a triangle for the wave X. If this were to be the correct count and this were to be a double zigzag, this could be wave W down here, wave X here for a triangle. This would be a contracting triangle, and it actually makes sense based on the volume profile, because if we go to the volume profile, we're actually getting decreasing volume for the most part. However, this is one option, but we're also getting decreasing volume throughout this whole correction right here. So what that leads me to believe, as you guys know, is also just considering more simply the running triangle, where this would be an A, B, a B up here, C down here. We're coming up for the wave D, and then we're gonna come down for the wave E. And in this case, we could still be in the wave D, where we could have put in the wave A as so. This is the wave A, we came down for the wave D, and we may be in just a longer wave D, where this is a 1, 2. We could be coming up for the 3, 4, 5 into this 1.618 of the wave A, or this golden pocket pulled from the high here to the low down here. That's an option we could be looking at. Now, if you guys watched my previous daily update yesterday, we could have also put in a wave D, which happened to just be a truncated zigzag as so, and this wave C was put in right here. I don't think it's as likely, but it is a possibility, especially if we get a rejection up here without taking out this high right here, and we get something like an A, B, C down here, and then get an uptick in volume once we put in this three-wave move and get a move out of here like that. That could be indicating that we could have put in the wave D here for a truncated zigzag, and we came down for a short wave E, which ended up right here perhaps. That's basically what we're looking at as far as the running triangle goes. Now, my preferred way to count it would just be saying it's the wave A, B, and we're probably still in the wave D, but like I mentioned yesterday, it is possible that we put in the wave D here, and we may be in the wave E. That's something we need to consider. But overall, these are really the two counts that I'm considering the most. I don't think I'm leaning towards us not putting in the wave 4 here for a running flat, excuse me. So in the running flat situation, this would be an A, B, C, and we could have put in a running flat right here to complete the primary wave 4. However, I don't think it's as likely because the volume profile off these lows is not really upticking. It's not really increasing that much. So I still think we're in a correction for the most part. So yeah, that's basically the greater context that we're looking at, either the triangle or the WXY. Now the WXY is obviously going to be a more bearish count. It's going to bring us down to the wave Y, down here for this wave Y, probably down to the 1-to-1 of this first move right here. Now, since we're on the daily chart, I'm going to be looking around the 1-to-1 based on log scale. So for example, taking the length of this wave W. So we're just going to kind of eyeball it today. Then we're going to assume that we come up for a wave X that ends somewhere around this trend line right here. Then the 1-to-1 on log scale would come in around 21K approximately. Now, some more confluence would be in this area right here, this order block right here, or this order block right here. So that would be around the 1-to-1 with some more volume support in these areas of support right here. So yeah, that's what we're looking at on the greater context. I'm going to hide these counts. I'm going to show you guys what we're looking at in more of the local time frame in this section right here. So let's go ahead and zoom into the 1-hour chart. And the two counts that I'm going to go off of, I'm going to show you guys a bearish count and a bullish count. I'm going to start out with the bearish count today, and that's going to be looking like this, where we start out with an ABC as so for an ABC up into these highs. So instead of calling this an impulse up into this high, we actually are calling it an ABC. And then off these highs right here, we're calling this all an impulse for wave 1. And this is one wave to count it. We could say it's a wave 1 or a wave A. In this case, we're just going to say it's a wave 1. That would be probably the most bearish way to count it. And this move up, since it's more of a three-wave move for an A, B, C up into these highs right here, we could call this all wave 2 for a zigzag, for an A, B, C zigzag. And then we're currently in the wave 3. We may have put in the first wave of this wave 3 down here. So what we could be expecting in this count is for us to come up for the wave 2. As so, and we actually came up to the golden pocket, which is a pretty good level to look out for the wave 2. So if we pull a Fibonacci retracement level from the high, this local high to the low, we came into the golden pocket, which is a nice target to be looking out for the wave 2, like I mentioned. So we could be rejecting around here. We're going to investigate whether it's likely that this is a wave 2 or whether it's likely this is the top of this move right here. Or we're gonna go higher in just a second. But I just kind of want to give you guys some context for what we're looking at. And given this count, we could be looking at us putting in a wave 1 here, coming up for the wave 2, 3, 4, 5 to put in this minute wave 3 down here. And then of course, if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if it is an impulse as opposed to an ABC, we could be looking for this wave 5 to come pretty low. You know, like I mentioned, that order block around 18 to 20K. But if this is an ABC as opposed to an impulse, we could just be looking for us to come slightly below these lows right here around 33K. Because this wave 2 retraced so far up here, it actually retraced above the 88.6% retracement level. So that would mean to get equality with this wave 1, then this could simply be something more like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just come slightly below this wick here, maybe down to 30K or so. And that would give us the wave C of a zigzag in the case this is an A, B, C. So that's what we're looking at on the bullish count, rather the bearish count. Now I'm going to show you guys the bullish count, and I think the bullish count is actually a little bit more probable. You know, I'm a little bit mixed. I've been telling you guys this for a while because the volume profile is conflicting. I'm not going to go over the volume in this video. If you guys want to see kind of why I'm a little bit conflicted on whether this is an ABC or rather whether this is the bullish count or the bearish count, then go ahead and check out my previous daily updates. But for the most part, they both make sense. The problem with the bullish count right here is that calling this a 5-wave impulse into the highs, you guys can see this wave 5. The way we do it, we call this a wave 1, 2, this would be a 3, 4, and this would be a very short wave 5. So the very short wave 5 kind of takes away from the probabilities of this indeed being a wave 1 put in right here. It just makes a lot more sense to say this is an ABC. However, it is possible. We have seen wave 5s just kind of shoot up and come right back down as so. So it is possible this is a wave 1 being put in here, or rather this just simply is an impulse here and we just came down for wave 2. The other downside is this wave 2 does not really look too corrective. It actually looks more impulsive. Now I have a way I could show you guys how we could count this as an impulse in just a second. I think it would look a little bit like this right here. So in the bearish count, this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That makes more sense to me than trying to fit in a corrective wave for an A, B, C. It is possible, but it just looks a little bit more impulsive than corrective. So that's the other downside to this count, calling this wave 2 here. But given those downsides, if we are just kind of giving this count a little bit more flexibility, then we could say this is a 1, 2, and we may be coming up for a 3, where this could go up for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to put in the wave 3, down for the wave 4, up for the wave 5, and that could be putting in the wave D of the running triangle. So that's really what we're hoping for if we do want to put in that wave D of the running triangle, assuming we didn't put in the truncated zigzag for an A, B, C, and we didn't put in the wave D right here. That would be this is kind of what we're expecting if we do want to come higher to put in that wave D around that golden pocket or around the 1.618 of this wave A. But yeah, keep in mind we do have those downsides like I mentioned, but that's what we're looking at on the bullish count for the most part. And also, like I mentioned, in the case of the WXY, this could simply just be a triangle. So I'm going to actually show you guys the WXY count. This could be a triangle, and I told you guys I'd zoom in and kind of show you guys that this does make 3-wave moves for the most part. Now, keep in mind, we do kind of have to get a little bit more flexibility, especially for this move right here. This move makes, like I said, it makes a little bit better of an impulse than a corrective move. So forcing in a zigzag into this move is not really too pretty, but we could say this is an A, B, C, perhaps. You know, it looks a little bit more like an impulse, but it is possible that could be an ABC into that low. But obviously, this is a nice ABC up here to give us this wave A. And then down here, we could say this is an ABC. And you're not always going to get perfect zigzags in triangles, especially. So we can't really expect to get perfect equality with the wave A and the wave C. You guys heard already see there are some problems with this triangle, but it is possible, and we are getting decreasing volume for the most part. We're on the 1 hour chart, so we're not really getting decreasing volume on this chart. But if you zoom out to the daily chart, for the most part, we are getting decreasing volume. And even on the 1 hour chart, you could still argue that we are getting decreasing volume if you compare the volume from this wave A to the wave B into the wave C, D, and E, etc. So this is something we could be considering. Now, if we were to get this wave E, we want to be getting a zigzag as well. So this would probably mean we could be coming up for a wave A as so, down for wave B, up for another wave C. I'm actually gonna zoom in to show you guys what we could be looking at in this more local time frame right here. So I just kind of wanted to show you guys what we're looking at in this time frame, the 1 hour chart, to kind of give you guys some more context for the options we could be considering. So those are basically the 3 options we could be considering for the most part. The bullish count, the bearish count, and this more neutral count. Well, this is more bearish as well, but it's going to assume that we're going to come up to this wave E and then get a rejection and come down for this wave Y, which is going to bring us down quite far. So this is really just kind of another bearish count we could be looking at. So let's go ahead and hide this and zoom into the 15-minute chart to show you guys the more local count, which I'm calling the very local count, which is just everything, in this section right here. And to get an impulse off this low right here, to be honest, that makes the most sense to me. Instead of calling this a wave A, B, C, it makes a lot more sense for me to call this a 1, 2, 3, given the length of this wave 3 right here. Because if this were to be a wave C, then I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the count. This would be a very long wave C, since if we're calling this a wave 1 here, this wave 2 down here, which makes the most sense for me as a way of counting it, just to get the best equality between all these subwaves for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll repeat myself. If we're calling this wave 1 here and the 2 here, then we could see this wave 3, or rather this wave C, if we're calling this an ABC, came all the way to the 2.618. So that would be a very long wave C. Also, we get increasing volume in this wave C, assuming this is a wave C. So it makes more sense for me to call this a wave 3, because you expect increasing volume in wave 3s compared to the wave 1, which we got. Also, wave 3s tend to be the extended wavelength of an impulse, which we got because this came all the way to the 2.618 of this move right here. And overall, it has the right look for this being an impulse, and it just makes the most sense. If you zoom out, it looks much more like an impulse than saying this is an ABC. So I'm not as inclined to go off the count that I showed you guys earlier, saying this is a 1 of the wave 3 and we came up for wave 2. Because if this were to be a wave 2, what we'd be looking at is for this to be something like an AB, this could be an ABC up into these highs and we get a rejection. But given the downsides like I mentioned, I don't think it makes as much sense to call this an ABC for the wave 2. Alternatively, this could all be the wave A of a zigzag. We could be going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we get a pullback, A, B, C, and another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to give us the wave C. But that would be a pretty short wave C compared to the wave A. So not as likely, in my opinion, that this is a wave 2 overall. Also, you guys can see the volume profile is actually higher on this move up right here than it was for the most part on this move down. So as I always tell you guys, in the correction, you want to expect lower volume than the impulse. So if this was the impulse here and this is the correction, then it kind of it doesn't invalidate it, but it definitely takes away a little bit of influence for this being a 1, 2, and we're coming down for 3 because we got higher volume in this correction. So therefore, it makes more sense for me to call this an impulse. And what we would be expecting for this to be an impulse basically would be for this to be, like I mentioned, a 1, 2, 3. And the way we would subdivide it, now it's a little bit subjective how to subdivide this for the most part. I personally don't trade. I don't put a ton of emphasis on these low-term Elliott wave counts. But just for your guys' educational purposes, I'd probably see this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for this wave 1. Because if you were to call this a 3, I'll just hide this so I don't waste your guys' time. I'm just going to say this is a 1. If you were to say this is a 1, 2 down here, this is a 3, 4 up here, because that's how you'd have to do it without getting overlap between the wave 1 and the wave 4. And this is a wave 5, then you don't really get a lot of symmetry with the wave 4 and the wave 2. You know, this wave 4 here would be a lot shorter in terms of time duration than this wave 2. So you don't get the right look there. So the best way I would do it is like I showed you guys here, where this would probably be a 1 here. This would be a 2. Now it is possible for the 1 to go here, but just keep in mind, this is one way you could count it, for this being a 1, 2, and then counting up, you get a 1, 2. This would be an extended third. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to put in this. This would be a microwave 3. Down for the microwave 4, and I was expecting us to come up for this microwave 5, which it looks like we may be coming out for. To put in this wave 3, so we could be coming up for that right now. We can have to pay attention to that. And then once we put in this microwave 5, we're going to come down for this subminient wave 4. We're going to retrace probably in this region right here, and then come up for the wave 5. That's probably how we're going to have. That's probably what's going to happen for the most part, because wave 4s tend to retrace to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. So if this were to be putting in a subminient wave 3 here, then we could expect this wave 4 to come into this microwave 4, which is 1 lesser degree than this wave 4 right here. So that would basically be implying that we're probably going to bottom out for the wave 4 somewhere in this box right here. Now, I tend not to like to trade wave 4s because the wave 3 always has the potential to be a wave C as opposed to a wave 3, where this is simply an A, B, C. And then we're going to come down for some sort of impulse instead of this being a 1, 2, 3. So that's usually why I don't tend to like to trade wave 4s. However, in this case, this is very indicative of wave 3, so I would consider trading this wave 4 if we were to come down here, especially if we were to get a typical wave 4 pattern, such as a triangle for A, B, C, D, E, or get some sort of flat for a wave for 3 waves down, 3 waves up, 5 waves down, as so. In that case, I'd probably consider trading this wave 4 and then trade it up for the wave 5, and then take profits up for the wave 5. So that's how I'm planning to kind of trade this today. But a target for the wave 5 that we could be looking out for. Now keep in mind, I'm not really going off this count where this is a 1, 2. So I'm more inclined to go off this bullish count, at least this local bullish count where this is a 1, 2, and we put in a 3, or we're coming out for this 3, we're gonna come down for the 4, up for the 5. That's the main local count that I'm going off of today. It could change, of course, you know, data changes over time. So that's just kind of what I'm going off of at the time of recording this video. But some targets we could be looking for to the upside for this wave 5. So I'm gonna hide this for now to make it a little bit cleaner. Some targets we could be looking for this wave 5 would be looking for equality between the wave 1. Because we got an extended wave 3, you want to look for equality between the wave 1 and the wave 5. And in that case, I'm gonna hide this for now. I'm gonna hide the count, but keep this in mind that we're looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we're looking for equality between this wave 1 and this wave 5, then we're gonna basically measure the length of the wave 1 and compare it to the bottom of the wave 4. So we're kind of assuming the wave 4 ended right here. Now, like I mentioned, I am expecting us to kind of still be in a wave 4, or actually put in a wave 5 and then start the wave 4. So once we put in that wave 4, then a target we could be looking for the wave 5 would be this 1 to 1, which would be equality between the wave 1 and the wave 5. Now, keep in mind, you want to adjust the pivot really to wherever the wave 4 ends up being put in. So if we do get a triangle as so, this is an A, B, C, D, E, just as an example, then adjust it to the end of wave E, and that's going to be giving us a target to the upside. But overall, it's probably going to be giving us a target around the 0.786. Which would be a nice target to be looking out for, because we have these volume nodes in this order block right here around 43.4K. Also this one up here around 43.8K. We have a daily up here, which is a little bit higher, around 44.4K. So overall, we're at a level of resistance around the golden pocket and also around this order block right here, which I actually gave you guys this level yesterday. So if you guys were paying attention, this was one of the levels I was predicting us to bounce at and get a rejection. And it looks like we already are getting a small rejection down here. But if we go higher than this golden pocket, I'm going to be looking around this 1 to 1 or the 0.786. To clarify, in this box right here more specifically, somewhere in that box right there. Now, of course, we're going to be looking at the kind of wave count as we make our way up there. So if we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're going to probably be looking to short at once we put in that wave 4 and come up for that wave 5. Now, if we get above this level right here, which is the 120 and the 0.786, then we have this daily level right here, which actually aligns. It doesn't align perfectly, but it comes pretty close to this upper trend line. So if we're calling this a triangle, like I showed you guys earlier, then we could be putting in the wave E. So let's actually adjust this triangle, or rather adjust the trend line to make it a little bit more accurate. We could come a little bit above the weekly, rather the daily level, or come into the daily level around this trend line, as so. Maybe come a little bit above it and then get a rejection, and then it come down for that wave Y of the larger WXY. That's what we could be looking at in the case of a triangle. Now, of course, if we put in a wave 5, if this is all an impulse, and we come up for the wave 5, then a good plan to have is to trade the wave 2. So if this were to be a 1 and we were to come down for the wave 2, then look to get in on the wave 2 retracement, and that's going to give you a pretty nice trade, especially if we come up for some sort of wave 3 and or 4 or 5, because that's going to bring us up quite far. So that's basically what I'm looking at. That's kind of how I'm viewing the charts today and how I'm planning to trade them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video and in the Discord server. Take care. Bye.